Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, As Told by Hadia. I just want to go over Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 20, the reunion a little bit. And I just want to ask the question, is Monique coming back next season? So I'm going to go through the reunion real quick, skim through some of the topics, what I found funny, what I didn't find funny, and then try to answer that question as best as I can. So, I think everyone looked okay. Like, I think Wendy looked much more approved than she did throughout the season. Her hair looked nice. Her makeup was a bit much, but her hair looked really nice. Her skin looked beautiful in the color dress, but I didn't care for the dress. Monique, I thought the dress was okay. I could have did without the sleeve. It fit her well, though. I didn't like the hair. The makeup was a bit much, and the shoes was a bit much. So people were saying Monique, 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 but I didn't really personally care for her outfit either. Now, overall, she didn't look bad. Overall, she would be top 3 out of the girls. But in general, she didn't look that good. Karen, I didn't care for Karen's dress as much. Like like the boobs seemed to be a little bit squished. But it wasn't absolutely terrible. I didn't like that it has like a lace overlay, which I feel like messed up the dress. But overall, she looked really put together. So once again, like, she would be in my top 3 as overall she looked put together. Giselle looked better than she's looked in a while. I didn't care for the dress. The hair was very basic. The makeup, pretty basic. Like, she looked pretty, but I wouldn't go right home about it. But it's better than what she normally looks. Robin, she's in the worst because everything just went wrong. Her hair was absolutely atrocious. It looked like somebody just tried to make a print on a badly cut bob. Ridiculous. The dress was too big. It wasn't showing any skin, which I think was her downfall. The color just looked terrible. She looked like mustard, and her makeup made her look older than she is. And so Robin, I really was surprised because Robin is a very beautiful woman and she has a nice body, but that wasn't it. Ashley, I think, looked pretty much the worst. And it's interesting because normally when the housewives are pregnant, they have this glow about them. They look really pretty. For Ashley to always be mentioning how her husband has millions, she looks up tacky. She doesn't look very good most of the time. Her dress was atrocious. It was actually the worst dress on the show. Her hair it looked like she was just woke up and was thrown together. It didn't look like reunion. It didn't look like anything to write home about. Candace looked very pretty. What I will say is the bow in the bottom part of the dress, it was okay. I wouldn't say it's my best or my favorite Candace look, but it looked all together as a look. It was a look. It was cute. It was adorable. It was very age appropriate, and it was different. All together, her hair looked amazing. Her makeup was okay. It looked good on her face. It didn't do too much, but all together, I thought that it was good. So my top 3 would be Monique, Candace, and Karen. Definitely. And they're usually in the top when it comes to their looks anyway. Like, Karen has really improved with her looks. I felt like Candace always had a really cute, modern style. Monique, she looks put together enough. Like, she's just above the herd for me because sometimes I feel like she has questionable looks as well. So first they get on Giselle's fashions. Everybody was roasting her. Karen, was roasting the shit out of her. Even Candace said, I wish you could spend a day with a really good stylist. And that was funny. It was funny. It was shady. Giselle took it. It was everything because nobody was taking it too seriously. We also had a conversation about colorism. I don't think Wendy explained it well because a question was asked by a viewer, is there colorism in Potomac? Here's what I would say. If I was Wendy and in that moment she wasn't put on the spot, what I would say is, yes, there is colorism in Potomac, and it's colorism in Potomac cast and there's colorism in Potomac viewers. And here's how. Ashley, I've never heard anyone call Ashley aggressive on this show. Correct me if I'm wrong. I never heard a time when Ashley was made to apologize to someone in a group setting with the possibility of one person saying that she could be iced out. I never knew that, what about Giselle and Robbie? Yeah, Giselle is getting it this season, but she won 5 seasons with being messy in everyone's business, and no one ever said anything. So for the light-skinned woman on the show, it's just they're messy, they're this, they're that. But when it comes to darker-skinned women, they're aggressive, they're doing too much, it's a big deal. And so I wish Wendy would have said that. And then also, like Wendy said, those triggering words gives the viewers, because I even saw some white people commenting and people were cheering them on while they were calling Kansas them aggressive, deserve their ass beat. And there is never a time that I want to see a black person cheering on white people for saying someone needs to get their ass beat. But when you have other black people cheering it on, but then the next day y'all say Black Lives Matter, RIP, this, that. Ridiculous. So I felt like Wendy could have explained it better. She was very much put on the spot. But at the end of the day, the lighter skinned woman in Potomac can get away with hell, and it just is what it is, and they're being messy. But the darker skinned women have to basically run through hoops, and they're aggressive. Ashley knows exactly what she's doing because Ashley is a colorist. And mind you, all these ladies have their issues, but Ashley is a colorist. Ashley feels like she has this white man with money, no matter if he's gay, no matter if he's a sexual predator, no matter if she has to fuck him in his ass at night. And this is just honestly the truth. No matter what she has to do to this man, and like I said, if she likes it, I love it. If you like fucking somebody in the ass and playing in his asshole and having him cheat on you, then go ahead. But him being a sexual predator is disgusting. And she's okay with that. And she's like on Master's lap, milking it up, thinking that she's better than everybody else. And so for Ashley, it's, I am who I am, and I'm better than you. And I think that's why she has an issue with Candace, because then Candace and some of the other women have some classist, elitist issues as well. But you have a woman who is dark-skinned. I personally care for Candace's features more, but is stunningly beautiful, was in pageants and won, has a mother who can take care of her and didn't have to marry this man, and is confident with herself and has a wonderful husband. And people like Ashley cannot deal with that. They can't. And so she always trying to come for her, but then when she gets come back for it, you're being super aggressive. And so there is colorism in Potomac, and there is colorism from the viewers, but I just don't think that Wendy explained it right. And in that moment, I was angry at Monique because, okay, girl, we get that you're finishing out this alliance with Ashley and Karen, but you're doing too much. You're doing way, way, way too much. You keep making it seem as if, you keep singing, oh, well, y'all can call me ghetto and all that stuff. Well, that's elitism. That is. And it was a little bit classist. And they were looking down at you a bit. And I think that could be addressed as well. However, what Monique's dumbass didn't understand, and once again, maybe she just doesn't have the ability to understand it. But also, I think that Monique wishes that she was lighter because she wants to be in that light-skinned, green-eyed group so bad. But what she doesn't understand is you've been affected by that as well. How easy they were to call you aggressive, to write you off, was the same thing that Candace and Monique and whatchamacallit goes through. But you wanted to take that as a moment to be caping for the light skins, to be caping for, the person that has an alliance with you instead of being honest about it. But once again, she probably doesn't even know. So yeah, that was a conversation. Giselle was talked about pretty much the whole reunion part one. So I would say reunion part one is Giselle. And there's not much to write home about it. People said stuff about Wendy's degrees while she kept mentioning it. She gave a very elitist answer, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, Wendy can brag about her degrees because on the show they brag about shit. Ashley tried to use a dig at Candace that I'm married to a millionaire. Why would I care? Because Candace is not married to someone with money. So you still bring up Michael's money as a talking point. The same way with Monique. You bring up, I'm one of the only housewives that lives in Potomac. You bring up your husband's money all the time. So Wendy can't brag about her accomplishments. To me, Wendy coming onto the scene put these bitches on notice. I'm going to be honest with y'all. She put these bitches on notice. It was, we have this beautiful, dark-skinned black woman coming on the show, and people can't take it. It's like, she's beautiful. She's dark and she's actually African. She has those features and she's still stunningly beautiful. And because all African people are beautiful, but she's so beautiful that she competes with y'all beauty. And a lot of y'all are colorist on the show, and that doesn't work for y'all. And on top of that, you can't say much about Wendy. This is a similar thing to Candace. You can't say much about Candace. You can't say much about Wendy. That's why y'all get mad, because they're both two gorgeous, dark-skinned black women, extremely educated, have their own, furthering their, like, you can't say much about them. And that's why I think that certain people in the cast have a problem with them. But so if everyone else can brag about money and all that stuff, then Wendy can bring up her fucking degrees. And I also think the production probably contributed to that, because it should have been more scenes of Wendy with everyone else. But once again, when the fight happened, that took up everything. And so everyone just kind of had to deal with it. Let's get into what I felt like were some of the best and the worst reads. So like I said, most of the reunion was fun, lighthearted shade that you can enjoy. Then it started to get, here's when it started to get, take a little bit of a turn. So Candace read Ashley down, as she's supposed to do. Ashley, you're lightweight. You're not nobody. Like, you shouldn't even try to speak to Candace, because Candace always reads you. So basically, Andy told Candace, congratulations on, I heard you moved out of Dorothy home. Candace said yes. Candace said, we'll wait until Chris comes out. And then Andy says, congratulations on the song. And Candace says, thank you. He says, how does it compare to Ashley's song, Coffee Love? Candace said it does not compare. It's an actual song, no auto-tune. That was the start of the shade. Ashley comes back. I performed mine without any glitches. Shade and Candace about being at Robin's party and it was the glitch. And then Candace returns with, but the vocals, my dear, they're trash. Next question. So that could have ended it there. Ashley wanted to go deeper. Well, we're going to see, she didn't have nothing to say about Candace because Candace told the truth. Well, we're going to talk about the disgusting things you said online. Deflection. So then Candace says the truth. Don't talk about me and my Twitter when you can't control your husband and his nasty hands. And Karen's reaction to all of those was priceless. Your husband is itching. Take a test. That to me was actually the best read of the night, because it was off the dome. It was a mutual back and forth. It was everything. That was the best read of the night. It was. It just was. Everybody was hype over Monique, and I'm about to get into it. But that was the best read of the night. Just a back and forth, simple, nice, nasty read. And then she even got Andy together, Candace, because Andy said, oh, well, You did shade her song, and Candace said that you asked me about, and he had to concede. Yes, I did. Yeah, Andy, you don't try to come for Candace because you be asking these shady ass questions because you want a shady ass response, and then what? Because Candace got the best of Ashley. Now it's time for us to be like, well, you did shade the song. Yeah, Andy is messy. Then we got to, this is what I mean by starting to get dark, and I don't like it. But I guess it set us up for the next episode where the fight is going to be talked about. So Karen starts it off, and this is how Karen and Monique met up to do this. And like I said, it's really pathetic in my opinion. Most of these women are pathetic, but it's really pathetic because Karen is like almost 60 years old, and she's meeting up with a woman that's pretty much like 20 years younger than her to try to bring down another castmate. Like, fame has really gone to Karen here, but whatever. Anyway, so Karen basically starts it off, and she's because a question was asked by Andy, are you with Jamal? How's it with Jamal? And she said, yes, we are. Karen says, well, word on the street is that you're not with him, and he had 6 or 7 baby mamas, and the 7th one he had with a girlfriend that he's talking to now, basically. So Giselle basically tries not to answer it. So then Monique comes and pulls out her rusty ass receipt. And immediately when she does it, Candace says she's been sitting on this for a while. Monique says she's been having it. And Monique just goes in about these texts from this lady that used to be his girlfriend, or maybe is possibly his girlfriend, or some shit like that. And she called him Pastor Holy Whore. And, it was just like, it was like bothered press tease. Giselle, now the only good thing was that Giselle's face cracked. Because at first she was trying to play it off, but you could see her face crack. And what it did to me was it solidified to me that they need to get it together. They do. Because to me, why did you need these receipts? This is stuff that people already knew. Supposedly, this woman was shopping around to different bloggers, giving them the same tea that you had. It was cold tea. Everybody knows he's a hoe. We all knew it was a fake storyline. So you could have easily gave her a good 1 or 2 reads, and that would have been enough for me. But bringing out a receipt of text messages, like, it just didn't do it for me. It was just kind of like, all right. And it came to a point where her and Karen came off like the same bullies that they say Giselle is. It came to that point because this girl just wasn't really responding, and you just kept going and going and going. And I'm not saying that I don't want Giselle to get it. Giselle definitely deserves to be brought down a couple notches because of all the shit that she did. But it just came to a point where it felt uncomfortable. It was no longer fun. It was no longer nice, nasty. It was more so down in the gutter. Now, what annoyed me about Candace in this moment was she was trying to give her an olive branch. You can tell she was trying to start with Monique to see if Monique would take it. People were trying to, Monique tried to say, I wasn't taking the bait or whatever. No, you don't know how to read nobody, Monique. So you wanted to get your story out and you wanted it to stick. And that's why you was ignoring Candace. It wasn't for no other reason. So yeah, I just felt like it was ridiculous. It was too much. And like I said, it just got to a point. Like, they got her, but it made me very uncomfortable to watch. And I think that I would have just preferred not no stupid ass binder of old tea that we already knew. If anything, the only receipt you should have bought is to try to prove there was a plot against you, like you said. Because all this other stuff comes off as pressed, bothered, and doing too much. And it's even worse than the stuff that you claim that everyone else does to you. It was even worse than that. So it is what it is. Monique sat down. So that's how the reunion ended. I thought it was a pretty good reunion until the end. It was just a bit much for me. What I will say is Monique really needs to get it together. Because I don't know how you're 40 and you were complaining about being so busy and being so tired for the season, but now you're able to have all this time to put a book together. You can tell she rehearsed her reads. She sat down with people to come up with nicknames. I mean, you talk about everybody else being childish. That's the most childish shit that you could do. And it made me question, is Monique coming back for season 6? Here's why. So you basically wrote a binder of rumors and receipts on everyone. I believe she even had tabs for Ashley and Karen if she needed to pull them out. So you wrote a binder of quote unquote receipts / rumors on everyone. Why would these ladies want to film with you? Because here's the thing. First and foremost, do we even want Monique back? You're making a big deal. Now, mind you, I just find it funny that she's making a big deal supposedly about the rumor with the trainer when she literally brought Sherman's ex on the show. And that probably pretty much solidified for Sherman why he didn't even want to be with Giselle anymore. So she probably helped to ruin that relationship. But you literally brought Sherman's ex-wife on the show and was trying to get her on the show. So for you to sit here, like Monique tries to act like she's not in it and she's above it, but no, you're not. You're just as messy and nasty and miserable as the other girls. And that's my problem with her. And you're just mad because the girls who are just as messy and mean and miserable do not accept you. They never accepted you. And you were jealous of Candace because she could be herself. She could read the girls and they could read her back and she was still accepted in the group. And you weren't. And you were just like them. That's what you were upset about. But this idea that, they're plotting against my family and they're such horrible people and sicking your followers on, these other girls, it's making me think, I wouldn't even want to see you back based off of that. And I don't think you should want to be back because they're not getting rid of the other girls for you. So if all these other girls are coming back, to me, that would make her look really foolish because you made a big deal about a rumor possibly being brought on the show. You and your husband are making a big deal about this rumor possibly being brought on the show. So if you're making a big deal about rumors, this is a TV show where this is a reality TV show where rumors are brought up all the time. So not only do I not want to even hear rumors, and that's why I wasn't here for this receipt book / rumors book or binder that she created, because it makes you look like a hypocrite. But also it's like, if these women are really doing that, don't your husband have money? Why would you even want to be on a show with them? It makes you look stupid for coming back if all these supposed women were plotting against you. Wouldn't it? I wouldn't come back to a show that I supposedly don't need. It makes you look stupid. When y'all made a big deal out of a rumor, because you could have still came here, you could have still read her down. It would have made Giselle look bad. But you chose to make such a big deal out of it and was going to Bravo and stuff. That to me says, why would you go back on the show where they supposedly were plotting to bring this rumor and you felt some type of way about it when it's a reality TV show where y'all all talk about rumors and do the same shit? That's A. B, you're basically not going to be cool with 4 of the cast members. I don't know if Ashley's going to come back next season. I don't want to see Ashley or her husband. And it would be very odd for them to bring Ashley back and not bring her husband back. And mind you, the video just came out of her husband grabbing a producer's ass. And we know that season 4, it was the scandal with the producer pressing charges, trying to press charges on him or sue him because he touched his ass. And Monique allegedly hid the video. And Ashley alluded to Monique doing something like that. And so it seems to me like, first and foremost, Michael shouldn't be on the show, but I also think his wife shouldn't either. I don't think, because how are you going to have a show where his wife is on, but you never see the husband? But when it's events and they have the husbands, like, that just don't work. I feel like he's a sexual predator. Nobody associated with a sexual predator should be on the show, period. And so, and also Michael might tell Ashley, who's pregnant now, Michael might tell Ashley, oh no, you're not doing that show. Because now all this shit, ever since you've done this show, I've had a whole bunch of scandals about me. It's affecting my business. I'm not letting you do the show. And what you think Ashley going to choose, that old white man with all that money or the show? She likes the show because it gives her independence, but she now has these babies. So if she wanted to leave him, she could. I don't see her leaving him no time soon. And so I think that we all need to be very understanding of that this could be the end for Ashley, and I hope so. I don't want to see her on the screen anymore, her or her disgusting husband. But what if Ashley doesn't come back? What if Ashley doesn't come back? Now it's just Monique and Karen. If Monique does come back, that even more has you isolated. And also, if you notice, even if Ashley does come back, Ashley is in an alliance with Giselle and Robin. So she's not going to give up her alliance with Giselle and Robin for Monique and Karen. She owed you a favor, Monique. She paid up that favor. She's not going to give up her alliance with those two for you. And she doesn't like Karen. So you're not in, and Karen doesn't like her. So you're not in a strong alliance. But like I said, I don't think Ashley is going to come back. I hope she doesn't. And I don't think that she will. And I think that if Bravo doesn't put a stop to it, like, listen, your husband is disgusting, because they're going to talk about it on the reunion. But if they don't put a stop to it and be like, listen, your husband is disgusting, he's a sexual predator, he's a liability. What does Ashley have besides her husband's antics? Yeah, she's messy still, but not as outwardly messy as she used to be. And also, they could always replace her with somebody, or they could just have the 6. So, like I said, I don't. Even though Andy said what he said about they have a good cast, I see them getting rid of Ashley possibly, or Michael telling Ashley she can't be in it because it makes him look bad or some shit like that. So it just made me, it just made me think, okay, so then you would only have Karen. But Karen can always be in the group if she wants to. And I just don't feel like one person wanting to film with you, because it wasn't even that good when 2 people. If you were so important and all that, like, it doesn't work in a group setting for the whole group not to film together. And so you're just making it so that these girls definitely would not want to film with you. So it made me think, is this performance you're doing at the reunion, is it trying to save your job, or is it trying to go out with a bang? Because if it's trying to save your job, this could very well have saved your job, because reunions can save someone's job if they're iffy on them. However, if it does save your job, would you want to come back? Because now we know you make a big deal about rumors. So anytime you're talking about anybody's else family or rumors, it's gonna look bad on you. Also, it's gonna be like, you are going to try to have to get back in with the group, and it's going to be like, well, you just made a big deal about rumors and them supposedly trying to destroy your family. Why would you want to be back in with the group? Isn't it going to look like that? It's going to make you look stupid. And then on top of that, it's going to be, these girls don't want to film with you. So you're not going to have that many scenes. They're not going to come to none of your events. If they invite you to their events, they're going to be shady. And then since you now want to bring receipts, and we know you like to bring people on the show, now you open a door up that you might not want to open. Because there's a lot of rumors about you and your marriage too. So now you open that door up for people to say what they want, do what they want, bring on people. Like, you open that door for them to do a lot of shady stuff. So in my opinion, I really think that this is the end for Monique on the show. And if it is not, Giselle and them are going to get you back next season. And it's going to be, you should have left. That's just, it is what it is. And I don't see Ashley necessarily coming back. I don't think she should be allowed to come back, her disgusting husband. But I also don't think her husband would really let her come back, because he don't need the money. And this show has made him look bad. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for scandals about Michael, yeah, Ashley is messy and stuff. She was really messy. Like, she's still messy, but she's not as much outwardly messy. Ashley would be replaceable. Now that they're probably going to not even have Michael on the show, as they shouldn't have from the beginning, what do you have? So I'm just saying that I feel like, if you were doing this to save your job, the women next season are going to run you off the show, because then they're going to bring up a lot of shit. They're not going to go to your events. They're not going to deal with you. Or, like I said, if this was your I'm going out with a bang moment, you have to understand, with or without you on the show, because a lot of the season highs was on episodes that you weren't on. You're replaceable. They can find a rich housewife in Potomac and replace you. And all those people who claim that they will not watch Potomac will still watch Potomac, because you were never that major. You just need another person who's willing to come in and read Giselle. That's what it is. You were never that major. You were never the biggest integral part of the show. If anything, the major people are Giselle, Karen, and pretty much Candace. They've solidified themselves as the people who bring just enough for us to be interested. Everybody else we can switch out and bring in and still have the same formula. But yeah, that's my review of the first part of the reunion. Have a nice day, guys.